In today's video, I'm going to share with you guys 5 unique roleplay ideas that I have not actually ever seen hosted here in Ponytown. This person is hosting a pool, a beach. This person is looking for some builders to do some stuff. This person just looks really cool. And you generally see a handful of different roleplays like family roleplays or lab roleplays or strip clubs if you're in the 18+ server and things like that. But in today's video, we're going to do some stuff that I've never seen before. Now, if you have seen these before, definitely throw them in the comments below. This person's recognized me, so it's now time to hop on the island where all of these roleplays will take place. They switched to a character that just looks just as awesome. This dude's cool. What's going on? Anyway, let's move on to the island because the first thing is an escape room. Now, this is going to be a little bit difficult to show it, I guess, to say the least. I've done it a couple of times. Once I've done it where I was participating in trying to solve the puzzles to escape the room, and I've done it another time where I actually hosted it and had Damien and Wild try to escape. I had them race to escape the rooms to see who could escape them the fastest. It was a blast. It was fun, and so I definitely recommend building an escape room if you have the creative genius enough to create some puzzles here in Ponytown. So there's a couple of ways to do this, and a couple of ways I recommend doing this. Number one, I don't recommend getting a huge party for this because honestly, if you have more than about 6 people, it's probably going to get extremely difficult to moderate and control and everything like that, because you're going to need some level of control when it comes to an escape room type thing, because you don't want people to jump over each other, talking over each other, and doing a bunch of stuff like that. So I definitely recommend having a small amount of players. You could do a couple of different things. First of all, when they enter the room, I think the number one thing you should do is lock them in by sealing it up with a wall or something like that. Secondly, you could give them build permissions and have them be able to move things around with a crowbar, but not allow them to have like a broom or a hammer so that they can't erase things and destroy your builds. So this is something I don't necessarily recommend, but you could have them get crowbars if it is a group of people you trust and have them move things around and stuff like that. Maybe have them take turns moving things and trying to come up with some ideas and stuff like that, because there are some interesting things you can do with this. For example, we have a starfish over here. What if the puzzle is to throw the starfish in the sink because starfish need water or something, right? And so that you do that and something activates. You get a key out of the faucet or something like that, and it opens up this box, this little barrel right here, and so you open that up and it gives you some kind of keypad or something like that, right? Another thing though, and this is how I truly recommend doing it because this is how I did it in my murder mystery series, you can have the players take turns looking at objects, talking about objects, and talking about certain actions. This gets into a closer of a D&D type thing because you basically would have them take turns, come up here, basically like, okay, what's this bottle? I'm gonna take this bottle off the shelf and see what happens. And then the host would have to tell them, oh, you found a number on the back of the bottle, or you found nothing interesting with this bottle whatsoever. It's not part of the puzzle. There's all kinds of different puzzles and stuff you can do with this, and you can take it as far roleplay-esque as you want, or have it very puzzle-esque if you want, and I think it's very fun and a blast. But I mentioned murder mysteries very briefly, and I actually have that as number 2 on the list. So let's switch this to night so we can have some cool ambiance here. But as you can see, we have found a dead body in the woods, and now me and my group of friends need to solve the mystery. How did this person die? What was the murder weapon? What's going on? What was this person like? And so you can set up an area like this where it's just some forest. You could also have it be a mansion or a large building, any kind of thing like that. It can take place anywhere, and that's something that allows a lot of creativity with this roleplay, and another reason why I highly recommend it, because it is just a blast and a lot of fun. But you could basically start it off as having everyone find this dead body, and then you can have the players kind of explore your map a little bit like that. Obviously, you could have a huge map or a small map. A huge map might be more fun, but you can have the players explore the map, looking for clues and things like that. And as you may have noticed, we have like this jar right here hidden behind this bush. We have like a knife hidden right here. We have a book right there, and it's like a ghost book and stuff like that. We even have a pouch over here, which we can't pick up, and a bowl with red stuff in it right there. So there's a handful of clues and stuff around the map right now, but basically that would be how you do this roleplay. You just have the players explore and then have them come up with different theories and things like that, and then ultimately at a certain time, maybe you set a timer or something like that, and at the end of the time, you ask all the players, so what do you think happened, or something like that, right? And you could do a fun game like that, or it could just be more roleplay-esque, where you're pretending to be investigators and things like that, and just go from there. It's a roleplay, so it's up to you how you participate in it. So let's switch back to day, because I'm starting to get a little too spooked here, and let's come over to this one, because I mentioned games briefly, but there are a handful of mini games that you can do here in Ponytown, and it doesn't take much to set up. For example, we have musical chairs. This is one of the easiest things to set up. All you need is a handful of players. Make sure there are more players than there are chairs. Get a torch right here because it acts as a randomized timer that the players themselves can see. Have the host come up here and boop off the torch, and that is their cue to jump off the seats and run around. Once the torch comes back on, every player needs to sit back in their seats, and the last player to do so is eliminated, and then you erase one of the chairs, and then you can continue on and do the same thing over and over again until there's one player left, and of course, that is how musical chairs work. Alright, so since musical chairs is such a simple minigame, I thought I would share another minigame in this section just because it is so simple, and also it'll take basically a minute to explain. So this minigame is very simple. All you do is set up layers of walls like you can see here with an ultimate end goal at the end with some gold and treasure or something like that. And then you have certain openings in the wall. So for example, right here, we don't have an opening right here. We don't have one here. The first opening is right here. You do that, and you do that for however many layers you think you want to, and then you ask all the players to line up, and then on the count of 3, everyone tries to race to get to the end. The trick, of course, is that the players don't know which path will lead them to the end. So for example, we know that first one was there, whereas the second one, well, it's not here and it's not here, so the third one must be, or the second one must be here, and then okay, that's not there, and then that one's there, that's not there, and then that's there, and I've made it to the end. And if you're the first one to the end, you get all the treasure and you win. And this is super simple, super fun, super easy, and you can immediately, when the game is over, set it up again by just simply changing the path that the players have to take. So this is definitely one that I recommend just because of how simple it is, and of course minigames are a blast. This also doesn't take much to explain to a handful of players, so you can have as many players as you want in this. Now let's move on to another one, and honestly I'm not sure why I haven't seen these around basically ever. I literally never see these. I feel like I may have seen them before in the past, like a long time ago, but I never see it anymore, and that is a supermarket roleplay. And this could be biased because I've been really into Supermarket Together lately, and it's a blast and it's a fun game and everything like that, but honestly, I never seen people roleplay a supermarket. I've seen people have them on their islands and stuff like that before, but I've never actually seen people use them and advertise it on the docks as like, hey, come to my supermarket, we got this, we got that. It's usually like a cafe or a bakery or something like that, or a restaurant even, but never a supermarket. And honestly, there is a lot you can do with this. Now, we have an area over here where you can purchase your goods. I just put this lockbox because I don't know what a register could be used as in this game. You can have different aisles with tables like this lined up with stuff. Obviously, this would be a lot easier and better if Ponytown actually had working tables. But since the tables don't necessarily work in the game, I recommend using these tables and rotating them vertically because that will give you the maximum amount of space. I definitely don't recommend using counters, and you probably don't want to use this table because stuff really can't be placed on it either. Like you can barely put that candle on there, for example. So there's not much you can really do with these tables, so it's very important to use certain tables. But you can also just use these shelves like this and just have items right here, so you can do that, and then you can come up here and you can purchase things from players and things like that. You can also even have a storage area for employees to gather new things and put on the shelves, you know, as per roleplay. You can have a manager's office over here where you can be a manager yourself and hire new people or fire people or something like that, or maybe somebody is a thief and you catch them and you bring them to the manager's office to talk to the manager, and maybe you can have some police involved or something like that in your roleplay or something. Honestly, there's so much potential in a supermarket roleplay, and I'm honestly shocked people have never done it, or at least I've not seen it very often. I have done one of these technically on the channel as well. It is super old. I think it's like 4 years old now at this point. It's called Game Art. It's hilarious. There's actually 2 parts to it, and it was a blast. Now, there's also a parking lot that you can do as part of the supermarket roleplay, and so this is just something, again, so much potential, so much you can do, and I just used some mine carts for the parking lot just to show it really quickly. But now let's move on to the last thing, and honestly, it's kind of the funniest one because it is a firefighter roleplay. I've actually never seen people do this, and now that we have fire in the game, it seems like a no-brainer. So you could basically have like some kind of, I don't know, building like this. Honestly, you could probably make a better building than I can. I was stressed on time, so so I just threw something together really quickly. But you could just have something like this that's on fire, have some firefighters, maybe some police that are, you know, directing traffic and things like that, have somebody set up barriers and everything like that, and then you could have a fire hydrant, which I just use this because I don't know what to use as a fire hydrant in this game, but you can have something like that, do that, get some water, bring it to the buckets, and then have somebody up here that's like firefighting, and they can like erase certain things with a broom or something like that. So it kind of works on its own, but you could even go another step further and have an interior. So you could go to an interior, you can make an interior that's also on fire, that has different fires and stuff like that. You could have people in the building that you're going to save and things like that. There is a lot of roles and stuff that you can take in this firefighter roleplay where you're going to fight fires and save people. You could even do forest fires and things like that. So honestly, it just is a no-brainer. There is so much you can do in this game if you just have a little bit more creativity than the classic cafe roleplay. Oh yes, another thing too about the firefighter thing too is you could have like a cause of the fire. So for example, I have like this sparkler right here in like the context of this roleplay. It could be like a cigarette that somebody threw out their window while going down the road and it caught this house on fire. You know, there's fun things like that you can do too, where you can find the cause of fire and maybe even prosecute somebody or something like that. It could be a blast. There's so much potential in just a firefighter roleplay alone. It's crazy that we haven't seen it, or I haven't seen it at the very least. So this is just 5 easy roleplays that you can do on your party island. Just go to the docks, ask people to join your party, ask people like, hey, we're gonna do a couple of mini games, or hey, we're gonna do a supermarket. I opened up a supermarket, come to my supermarket, or hey, I got this murder mystery, I bet you can't solve who did it, you know, those kinds of things. There's so much potential in all of these roleplays, and I'm honestly surprised I haven't seen them in the game yet. If you've seen these before in the past, advertised on Docs or something like that, let me know in the comments below. And if you have any unique, interesting roleplay ideas that you haven't seen advertised very often, please do share those also in the comments. But for now, that's all we got for you. So I hope you did enjoy. If you did, please do consider liking, subscribing, sharing, and doing all of those wonderful things like that. Because when you do wonderful things like that, not only do you get access to wonderful content such as this, but you also get to become wonderful yourself. And I think we all want that. So do those wonderful things, and until next time, stay wonderful. Why don't we always go to the beach at the end of these videos?